What is happening, people? That is correct. No, no Hay Arquero, episode 18 on the Discord for the time being, but
Yep.
not permanently. Just life is life. How are y'all doing?
Can't complain. Can't complain, man. Been grinding some more FC 25. Um, the weather's been nice in Houston. Not as hot anymore. Fall is actually finally here. It's not as
Yes.
hot. So yeah. Been enjoying it.
Yeah, we can say that the weather is nice here. Not in Florida though.
No,
They're
no.
having trouble. So if you're listening from Florida, we wish you the best.
Yeah, facts.
Stay safe. But yeah, the overall Houston has been nice, except for the Astros.
Oh
Um,
man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was
was not.
sad. That was
Yeah,
sad.
that was sad. Yeah, but the Dynamo does play against LA Galaxy soon.
Yep.
I think it's on the 19th, if
Yep.
I'm not mistaken.
Yep. That will be
So
here.
yeah, and then obviously we have the playoffs, so we'll see what we can do on that playoff
Indeed.
run.
Indeed.
How confident are you, Jordy?
I don't know, man. It's tough because I feel like we've been very unlucky in some of the results. I feel like we should be higher in the table than we are because I feel like on the road we're such a good team, and in the playoffs if we can carry this momentum that we have like on the road, I think we can make the conference final again.
Yeah, especially because if I'm not mistaken, the format is like best of three.
Yeah, it's best of three now,
It,
so
yes. So if
Hmm.
you have to play 2 games away for the Dynamos, it's not a big deal at all because they
yeah,
have shown that they can win games on the road. So it's more about what you can do at home rather than the W's that you can get on those away games.
facts.
Which is honestly crazy to think about, but
Yeah.
that's just
I've
the
ne
track that Dynamo has.
I've never seen a team like that, honestly. Like it just almost feels like on the road they just play
Yeah,
comfortable, like they don't care.
yeah, no
Or it's
pressure,
at
I
home where
guess.
they
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, we
probably.
we just need some more support out here in Houston, man. We
Yeah,
gotta build up this team, man. Because
yeah,
I mean, it's trying to do great things, and we gotta do great things alongside it.
facts.
Yeah. I wonder if how that attendance is gonna be like against LA Galaxy.
Should be
You
pretty
know,
good because they got some.
yeah,
Obviously, they have Royce. They got Ricky. They've got some
Yeah,
names, and obviously they're one of the best teams in the West. They're first right now in the West, so very good team. I mean, yeah, I think it'll be a decent crowd.
yeah. If you actually follow MLS, you should know that LA Galaxy is a pretty good team. So there's no reason to not show up. Like with the Astros out, I don't know if
Hmm.
the Rockets are gonna be playing any games. Like, if you just want to get some action, definitely Shell Energy Stadium is the place to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the NBA is like going to preseason, if anything.
Hmm.
But and it's apart from the Texans, we should definitely, or y'all should definitely go to these Shell Energy games with the Dynamo. But to get the episode started, I have a simple question. Well, it can be simple if you don't think about it too much. Question of the day. This one's a would you rather, not having to deal with the footy. This is a
Mm.
very situational question. So here we go. Would you rather go 2,000 years into the past or 2,000 years into the future? You're not returning, by the way. Once you're gone, you're gone.
Ooh.
It's a thinker for sure. Because I mean, like the past 2,000 years into the past, like that's not 100 years. Like that is 2,000 years into the past. We kind of know what
Yeah.
happened, but do we really know what happened?
Yeah, that's the thing. Do we really know? I mean, the obviously, there's books and everything and to talk about it, but like, who knows, man? Who knows what they weren't able to capture or write down? Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the thing about the future is that you obviously don't know where you're gonna land. So maybe you click the button and then all of a
There's
sudden
nothing.
it's just you. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just you, and
exactly.
then everything is empty.
that's
That's
Yeah.
scary.
I'll go with the past,
I'll go with
just
the
because of
past
that.
too. I feel like, ooh. So if I go into the past, do I remember like what happens or like,
I mean, you have your base knowledge that you have right now. Yeah.
oh, so I would just gamble? Yeah, I'm going
Yeah,
to I'm going to the
yeah,
past.
yeah,
Going to the past and just put in Barca money line and just becoming
yeah, dude.
rich.
Yeah. Definitely the
It's
past.
fun.
How
Yeah,
about you,
because
Guillermo?
you can go 2,000 years into the future and like literally, next thing you know, everybody's in floating
Yeah.
chairs eating Slurpees every day. You know what I mean? And you know what? I'll take the chance for a dystopian society. I'll have a little bit of faith in humanity to be able to keep this planet up for in 2,000 years.
Yeah,
So
I
I'll go with
talked
the future.
I talked about gambling, but I didn't realize it was 2,000 years back. So forget the gambling. But yeah, I'd still go to the past.
But I mean, here's the thing: like, if you go to the past, do you still die at like 80 years old, or do you live forever?
Nah, you definitely die 80 years
You
old.
die
No
at
way I'm
80.
letting
Okay,
you live 2,000 years.
Dang.
okay, because that's the other thing. Like, the
So maybe in
conditions
the
you
future
live
they have
in.
medicine that can like.
Exactly. So maybe you go to the past, and we're like in our 20s. So we go to the past, and the life expectancy back then was like 35.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
we're screwed.
Like any little thing. Y'all remember like learning about like what was it, the Black Plague? How
Yeah,
you
the
Yeah,
say
Black
that word?
Plague.
Yeah, bro. Like,
yeah, yeah.
nah.
That was years later though.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So imagine
I don't
before
know.
that, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
who
a tough
knows?
one, but I'll still go with the past. Just see what's up.
Okay. An absolute thinker for sure. But
Yeah.
now to get the first segment started of Hay Arquero. We have some league talk, and at this point, I was telling these guys it's tradition to put it on the podcast, but we're going to talk about Barcelona. We're simply going to talk about Barcelona. They were able to get a 3-0 win against Alaves this past weekend. Who scored those 3 goals, guys? Who scored those 3 goals?
Lewandowski.
Hat trick for the
Dude,
lad.
Yeah.
excellent performance. Not only Lewandowski, who is becoming the old Lewandowski that we already saw at Bayern Munich, but like the performance from Rafinha,
Two
from
assists.
the whole team, yeah, it was so good. And it's just I just hope nothing bad happens during international break, because if we can come back at this same pace, like this is gonna be where Barcelona plays their first big exams of the season.
Oh yeah.
Bayern, Real Madrid, Sevilla. It's gonna be tough. So I hope they can continue and keep this momentum.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I talked a little bit about Rafinha last time and how good he's been centrally, and I think truly that's his position. That's where he needs to play. And I wonder if international break, if he'll play this similar position with Brazil. What if Brazil is looking at Rafinha and going, look at how good he is in the middle, and seeing if maybe they put him in that cam position for Brazil, seeing as they've been obviously struggling to score.
That would actually be very interesting to see, honestly. See, and if Rafinha can adapt in Brazil and just keep on improving, like that's an absolute plus for Barca fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in
Living,
Brazil, that is not gonna have Vini, and I don't think they're gonna have Rodrigo either. Or I think he's training with some kind of uncomfortable, like he's not feeling well, or apparently something about some kind of muscle. But Brazil without Vini, obviously he gets criticized for not showing up in Brazil. Maybe this is a time where Rafinha has to carry Brazil as well, just like he's carrying Barca.
yeah. Lewandowski on 10 goals, which is the same as Holland, by the way. They
Wow.
they both got 10 goals this season. And then I was talking to a friend. Shout out to Jose, I know you're listening to this. And he told me something that I guess he just basically put it into perspective, and he told me that the reason why this Barca squad is like succeeding so well is because like Xavi was able to like bring out some of these youngsters and like give these opportunities. Like he really set out the foundation of this team, and then Flick is just really putting it to work and really putting, I guess, like piecing the puzzles together while Xavi like presented the pieces, if that makes any sense. So it's just it's an absolute
Hmm.
glorious time to be a Barca fan. We still got Yankee Peña in goal, but Chesney will be coming,
Yep.
so it's gonna be something else to look forward to as a Barca fan.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
finally
and
able to see. Oh, sorry, Vicente, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead,
But
go
yeah,
ahead.
I was just gonna say we were finally able to see some Ansu Fati ball again. It had
Oh
been a
yeah,
while. It had been a while, so it was good to see him come on the field a little bit.
Yeah, as well as Frankie de Jong. He played solid minutes against Alaves, and like this whole thing. You mentioned that Chesney is gonna probably start in La Liga when we come back from the international break. But this game for Iñaki Peña, I think he was the only Barcelona player who did bad. Like, I don't know if it was something about like Barcelona signing Chesney, and you obviously know that you're not gonna play as much because of that, but he did awful, and it doesn't look good on him. So Arnau Tenas went to PSG, and he's under Luis Enrique. But I don't know. I feel like Barcelona is gonna definitely have to look at who is the second goalkeeper because when Ter Stegen comes back, I doubt Chelsea is gonna stay. So it's
Mm,
definitely something that Barcelona has to look out for.
yeah. And I mean, how you just mentioned it earlier, coming back from international break, we have Sevilla, we have we have
Bayern.
Bayern, we have Real Madrid.
Woohoo!
Definitely a really big challenge.
Yeah.
So under this new Champions League format, obviously with points. So let's say, what's a solid like obviously 9 out of 9 is what you're aiming for, but what's a solid point count for Barcelona in those 3 game run?
I mean, considering the results from like the first game, off to like a rocky start. Like I think we could like I think 20 points would be pretty good. I guess it's hard to like, see what good amount of points is like considered with this new format because we could say that, but getting the most amount of wins and stuff, but with this new format, like we really don't know what teams are aim or what teams are aiming for in terms of like points.
Yeah, I believe it was 7 games, right? Each team gets 7.
Hmm.
Each team gets
Or
7.
you play eight,
Oh
eight,
yeah,
let's say.
8. So a total of 24 is what you can get. It's possible. It's possible. Barca could get 20, but it's really tough. I mean, because you have Bayern on your schedule. I mean, you have Dortmund away on your schedule, who has been hooping so far in this Champions League. They've been playing really well. So it won't be easy. 20 points is hard. We have Benfica, who have been great. Obviously, Benfica's obviously a very solid team. So 20 points is tough, but if they can finish somewhere in that top four, I think they will be happy with that.
Yeah, as long as you don't want to go into the playoffs or the wild card because those games are going to be rough because each team you face is going to play with 100%.
Yeah,
So if you can you know have that spot in the round of 16 already,
yeah.
then
Just get
you're
that
chilling.
first through 8. I think that's good enough for sure.
Yeah.
And onto a little more Champions League. We had a couple of interesting results from this past match week, and one of the most interesting one is Barca's next opponent, Bayern, ended up
Yep.
losing against Aston Villa. But I mean, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to John Duran. This guy, bro. Like
MLS
this
product.
guy's yeah, bro. MLS product. This guy
Yeah.
came from the MLS. He's playing in Villa. 20 years old, Colombian. He's got 6 goals and assists, 1 assist this season, and he only started for one of those games. So
Sheesh.
he's been doing it off the bench. He's been getting involved.
Insane.
He's 20 years old. Like, and Villa have obviously been doing really good. They're I want to say they're top four in the Premier League. The Premier League right now, it's still like pretty early stages, but Aston Villa have done well, and I think that John Duran, if he gets the more minutes, he could really make an impact in the footballing world in general.
Yeah, he's definitely got to start after this performance for sure. I mean, 30% possession for Villa, Emery ball, getting it done in probably the
Yep.
nastiest way possible. But it doesn't matter if you're a Villa fan. You take the 2-0 start in the Champions League. You're currently fifth in the Premier League off goal difference, so technically fourth. Yeah, I mean it's been incredible for Emery and his team.
Yeah, and the fact that he got Manuel Neuer off his line in that goal,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it, like the way he receives it, and he just looks up and knows that Neuer is off his line and just chips it over. It's incredible. Like that just shows the amount of confidence that he has. But some other results, like really interesting results. Dortmund, like Jordy already mentioned, they're on a roll, 7-1 against Celtic. I
Oof.
mean, that's crazy. And then Arsenal beating PSG 2-0. Arteta getting the job done against Luis Enrique, who, we're getting more and more images from that PSG documentary, and it's hilarious. Uh,
Yeah.
it's really funny, last Mbappe season, and Luis Enrique was losing it, but it was fun to see. We also had Leverkusen beating AC Milan in a
Yep.
1-0 game. It was a really interesting match. And also, um, I don't know if you guys saw the Girona Feyenoord game 2-3.
Yeah,
Oh
You don't
yeah.
have
Yeah, I was
home.
telling Guillermo about it last week. I was like, he can watch Santi a little bit before because that game was an 11 o'clock game.
yep,
Yeah, and the fact that Girona is like it's so unlucky because they were up, and then it was just like the goals I conceded were it was an on goal, two on goals actually, two on goals, and then another goal that's just like so unlucky because Gazzaniga couldn't do anything. So
Dang.
it just it almost feels like they're putting the right people out there and doing good enough, but it just can't like secure the back.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
So
stats, and I mean, 33% possession, 2 shots on target for Feyenoord, and they got it done.
that's
Insane.
insane.
The FIFA game right there for Girona.
yeah, and when you look at the table, who would have thought? When you look at the you know, top teams on the Champions League new format. You have Dortmund, Benfica, Brest, Leverkusen, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Juventus, and Inter. Like that's your top eight. So if it were to finish today, those are the teams that have a spot for sure in the round of 16.
Yeah. And you would have a
So
team like Milan out, who's currently 0-2. Team
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Leipzig would also be out, which is crazy.
yeah. It's a new format, and it's so funny. Like Bayern is 15, Barca is 16, and Real Madrid is 17. We
17,
gotta talk about that.
15,
We gotta
16,
talk about
yeah.
this.
and 17 all lined up, man.
The
Yeah,
footballing giants are
yeah.
falling.
So
The new
who
school is
wants
here.
to break down? Who wants to break down that 1-0 loss for Real Madrid against Lille?
I mean, Leo, man, like, well, first of
Jonathan
all,
David, man.
yeah,
Jonathan
Jonathan
David.
David, but Real Madrid, coming out swinging, Vinicius, Endrick, Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde, like it's not like they took this match they took it seriously is what I'm trying to say. The possession was relatively even, but the game itself, Real Madrid, they had the more attempts, man, but Lille unfortunately got the correct one. It was pretty close to the box. Jonathan David, he ended up scoring the goal, and that's all that was necessary. 1-0 ended up beating Real Madrid. Lille takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember watching this game, and like Lille like did not just sit back and wait. Like maybe in the second half, towards the end of the game, because obviously you're up 1-0.
Yeah, you gotta get
Real
them.
Madrid,
Yeah.
you're trying to secure everything. Real Madrid even they put Mbappe, who apparently was injured, and but somehow it just felt good to play the game because they needed a win. But in the first half, Lille did have good possession rate. They did play some good ball. Like they were having chances, and Madrid was the team that was sitting back. So things aren't clicking, and the Madrid fan base is not happy at all with the current squad because you obviously have the players, but some things aren't clicking. And you're coming off a season where you were so successful and you were playing good football because they were playing a good football.
Yeah.
So now that you have Mbappe, like why can you not even match that? Like it's something to look at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm surprised Madrid didn't come back there in those last few minutes. Ancelotti with the little raise of the eyebrow, the little that he likes to do, whenever they're struggling. No, but yeah, no, like 100%. And just I saw, I don't know if you guys saw, I saw a little bit of arguments from the Madrid players. They were arguing with each other a little bit there. I saw Valverde saying some words there. I don't know, man. A little bit of locker room heat, tension maybe.
Yeah.
Bellingham getting mad,
Yeah, he's
that
yeah.
Vinicius
Jude
and
was getting
Mbappe.
mad. Yeah.
So
Yeah, in a way, he's right though, because if you watch the video of when he like gets like starts like shaking his whole arms and just like shaking his head and stuff, it's because he's trying to play a long ball, but he loses possession and then beat
Yeah, and then you don't
and
drop back. You
Mbappe.
just
Yeah,
walk in.
they're just like on the other side of the pitch and they're just walking when they're 1-0 down. So
Yeah,
it is frustrating for the midfielders because
they're doing all
now
the work.
like exactly. So
yeah, that's because Mbappe started on the bench, man. Like he didn't play the full game. He got subbed on by Eder Militao in like the 57th. I want to say
Yeah.
that looks like. So for every reason to it, man. Like Mbappe should have been trying to show his worth, I would say.
yeah, and the tough one for Madrid to swallow is the fact that later that week, a couple days later, you play your league game, you're up to 0, and then in the last couple seconds of the match, you have Danny Carvajal with a season-ending injury.
Oh
That
yeah.
definitely like something really hard to swallow because, yeah, you have Lucas Vasquez, but you know, Lucas Vasquez is we have seen that he can play good matches, like, and he can respond well, but we're talking about a whole season. So
Yeah, and Carvajal is somebody that we were talking about as a quote unquote Ballon d'Or contender, or like just like an MVP for last season because of his just getting involved with Madrid in the Champions League and any other occasion. So losing Carvajal is really big for Madrid, I would say.
yeah, there are talks right now about maybe a possible signing for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Apparently,
Oh yeah,
Real Madrid is aiming for something like that, but we'll see how things develop. I don't see Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving Liverpool this season. If anything happens, it's going to be at the end of the season.
yeah,
But we'll see. We'll see what Real Madrid does.
yeah. I mean, because Arnold Trent already said like, oh, whatever happens in the future will happen. So maybe he's teasing something. But personally, I really like Trent, so I would not want to see him in Real Madrid. But that's just personal preference at that point. More personal preference would be me watching the Mexico games that are happening next week. Definitely.
Who are
Because
they playing?
so I'll break it down for you real quick. So the first match on October 12th that we're playing in Puebla. We're playing
In
against
Puebla, wow.
Valencia. Yeah. We're
you
playing
play
against,
you play who? Wait. Wait. Did I hear that right?
y'all heard it, y'all heard me. We're playing Valencia, the La Liga team, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's a
as a
good match,
yes,
low key. I mean,
I mean, yeah, right. Like we're getting some, like we're going to
okay.
go up against the European La Liga team. It's, you could say that Valencia's missing a couple key players because of international break, but it's still Valencia nonetheless. Yeah, and honestly, playing that or I don't know against like another CONCACAF team, like I
Yeah.
would take
Yeah,
Valencia.
Valencia all
It's
day.
definitely a weird one to just when I heard about it, I was like, okay, and then well, it's kind of happening now, so. Yeah, but that match is actually also going to be serving as a kind of like uh what's the word in English?
Tess.
Uh like una despedida, like
Oh, okay. Like a farewell.
yeah, like a farewell match to Andres Guardado
Oh,
for
okay.
like La Selección because he
Okay.
actually got called up, even though he's playing a Leon, he's going, but I want to say he is like
Yeah, he's got to be up
oh
there. He got.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look
They
into
should have
that right
played
now.
Betis then. If they were gonna do a farewell, it would have been
Yeah,
pretty cool.
right. They should
They
have a
played
little friendly
Betis.
against Betis. Yeah, that would have been
Yeah,
Yeah, that
because
would actually
he
been
played
at the Betis. Or,
for some.
but then they would have had to go
no,
to the
yeah.
Betis Stadium probably to do that since it's
Oh,
Guardado.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he's 38 years old and
Wow.
he's kicking. He's definitely a Mexican icon because despite his age, he was killing it in Betis as a captain for years. At the end of his career, when we all thought it was done, but he's actually finally done. So Mexico are going to be playing against Valencia on October 12th in Puebla, and that match will be with Andres Guardado to say a farewell to him. And then October 15th in Estadio Akron, which is Guadalajara, which is
Guadalajara.
Chivas Stadium.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing the U.S. So it's
Mm.
going to be a good match. It's going to definitely be bloody, and I'm very, very excited for that match to be playing it actually in Mexico and like, finally getting our get back, man. Like finally Mexico is actually like on a roll and like there's a little bit of potential, and it's going to be an interesting match for sure because it'll definitely be a test for Javier Aguirre and Rafa Marquez.
Yeah, it's
But
Yeah.
interesting to see them step out of the Azteca and play
yeah,
different venues in Puebla, Guadalajara. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
Great choices after what we have seen based on the attendance from
Yeah.
past games. And I just think that the Federación is doing a good job at just, moving things around and, giving opportunity to other stadiums and just, at the end of the day, Mexico is such a big country that, and, every Mexican wants to watch their team and their national team. So, give them what they want.
Hmm.
yeah. 100%. And there was actually a lot of theories going around like, oh, they're doing match in Estadio Akron because they're gonna call up Chicharito one more time and do a farewell for him.
That would be
But that
cool.
was not the case. Yeah, I also
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be cool. You know, Chivas Stadium. He's playing at Chivas right now. Like, it could have been cool, but ended up being with Andres Guardado in Puebla.
And
And
also
now,
keep in mind that,
yeah,
sorry, but closing on the national team, if you're not like gonna continue talking about that, but also keep in mind that the World Cup is coming soon. Like you
yep,
do have to test your stadiums because
Oh,
Mexico is
very
gonna
true.
play s- a lot of games in Mexico.
Yeah.
So you want to give that experience to the players who are gonna be playing those matches there.
Yeah, for
man,
sure. I mean, Puebla isn't a seed, but Guadalajara will be. So
Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
for sure.
yeah. That is a good way to look at it. But just I'm not gonna go over like the whole convocatoria, but
I
I
was gonna
will
ask
giving
you. I
out.
was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, I'll give some notes in. You know, some shout outs. So first one is Raúl Jiménez
Yeah,
is
he's been
back in la
balling.
selección.
Been balling
He has
recently.
been
Been hooping.
absolutely balling in the Premier League. I don't know if
Yeah.
y'all saw his
I
assist
saw
over
his
the
assist.
weekend.
Insane.
Exactly. Yeah, it is just like it's absolutely beautiful to watch. Like Raúl Jiménez linking up with
Yeah.
Adama
It's
Traore.
good to
I
see him
know
back.
he passed it to Pereira, but nah, still that was an insane assist. So and now with Santi being injured until the end of the season, it would be like really nice to see Raul Jimenez, you know, rise up for the occasion when, you know, like call it for the last year or two, you know, for before the World Cup. Maybe he can go to the World Cup, but it's because his story's sad, man. Like he was doing really good, like with Wolves, and like kept on increasing, just becoming better and better, and then he had that injury
Yeah.
against David Luiz with the header, and then after that he was not the same. But he's finally coming back. He's balling back, and it's just gonna be very very exciting to watch him in La Selección after balling so good with Fulham. And then another shout out that I want to give is Rodrigo Huescas. This guy, he's 21 years old. He's pretty young, and he was playing in Cruz Azul, and he went to Copenhagen in July. He did pretty good in preseason, but he's been kind of falling off and like losing minutes. But I still think it's really good that they called him for La Selección because the right back position or just fullbacks in general is one that we're still kind of having a conversation about. So, you know, calling up a 21-year-old that's playing in Europe or is in a European team would be very, very beneficial for him and for La Selección because they did not call up Julian Araujo, like, and you know, Bournemouth player, because he's been also kind of falling off with minutes. He hasn't played in the last two matches, so something's gonna have to come up for him in Bournemouth for him to be able to attain minutes and fight for his position. Because I mean, as a Premier League player, I would really want him to see him in La Selección Mexicana.
Yeah, facts. If you can do it in the Prem, then hey, you have every right to start for La Selección Mexicana, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a big statement from the coaching staff. You know, it's a clear message. You need to bring up your level. You need to gain minutes because, just the status is not gonna get you playing time in
Yep.
Mexico. It's like you need playing time. You need action. You need your legs rolling because if you're not playing, then you're not gonna see the pitch with the national team.
Yeah, and then, of course, Memo Ochoa coming back to the team sheet because Memo Ochoa will live on forever and play for La Selección forever.
Yeah.
And then Edson Alvarez is also back after trying to recuperate his level and his form in West Ham. And he's finally back in La Selección. So hopefully this this is that refresher that we need that we spoke about last episode because he was kind of falling off
Yeah.
in terms of like, he couldn't really keep himself in check. But a little more on Edson, there's actually been some transfer rumors surrounding him. So Milan they have him on the radar for the winter transfer, but West Ham already kind of said that like they're not gonna be letting him go without a price. So Milan are looking at like a potential like a swap deal with someone with like Loftus Cheek. So we'll end up seeing if Edson Alvarez goes to Milan. If he doesn't, feel like he can keep on growing in West Ham, maybe Milan could also be a destination for Edson Alvarez.
Yeah, Milan would be very solid.
And
Yeah,
then
a
the
destination where you're gonna be playing Champions League like on it, like constantly on a yearly basis. You're gonna be playing Champions League and you're gonna be winning trophies because, like, yeah, the Prem is a better league, you're playing for one of the best clubs in history. So I think
Yeah.
it will be a great move.
And then the last note that I wanted to put up is 25-year-old Germán Berterame, Argentinian, naturalized citizen to become Mexican, gets called up. He's a Rayados players, so he plays for my team. I be seeing him every week, so I kind of like this guy. I can't really be give my, I guess I would say, like, unbiased opinion, but I wanted to actually ask you guys about whole naturalized citizens, because in Mexico it's kind of like a popular belief, like, oh, we should just like focus on the Mexicans that we actually have, stop looking outside, and try to start our players, like, instead of calling up 25-year-old Germán Berterame, like, call up any other Mexican striker that deserves a chance in itself. But that's why I wanted to ask you guys, like, in terms of just naturalized citizens, like, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you think that that's something that countries like should keep doing, or do y'all think it should be more traditional type?
I don't see the problem, to be honest, because at the end of the day, that player like has love for the country. They're willing to play for the country. They want to represent that country. So I feel like they definitely should have an opportunity if they are good enough, if they have what it takes for sure. I mean, we saw it with Funes Mori, we saw it with Quinones, and now we're seeing it with this guy. So yeah, I definitely don't see an issue with it personally.
Yeah, and it's it's the current state of the world. Globalization has led to so many people moving to so many places, and we have kids with like Latin American parents being born in European countries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So, if they have dual citizenship, or maybe even more than just two, and they want to play for that country because they feel like they represent that nation, they feel a connection with that, and it's a better chance. Like it happens a lot with Venezuelan players. There are a lot of people who are not born in Venezuela, but because they have the citizenship and they can't play for other countries, then they choose to go with La Vinotinto. So I don't see a problem. At the end of the day, it only becomes a conversation when you're not good. Because if you're balling out on the pitch, no one's gonna care. So it only becomes a conversation where you don't become the player that people want you to become.
That's a fair point, because people will simply hate if the product is not good. But something that we definitely can never be hating is, well, you know what? I'll let Vicente bring up this next segment because
No,
it was his
before we
idea after
before we
all.
go into the next segment and closing on the whole Mexican talk, I did want to talk about Fernando Gago, the current
Okay.
Chivas manager, because we're seeing more and more rumors from both sides. He's the current Chivas manager, but obviously Boca, you know, they sacked his Diego Martinez, because he was doing really bad, lost El Super Clásico
yeah,
against River, and now they want Gago. Riquelme wants to get Gago. And, the Argentinians journalists are saying, yep, the contract is already made. They're just finishing up details. Boca is going to pay Chivas, and he's going to become the manager. And then in Mexico, it's a whole different talk because Gago himself, before Clásico Tapatío against Atlas, he went and said, "Hey, look, like, I haven't heard anything from Boca. Like, I am going to be the manager for." Or he didn't say he was going to be a manager, because that's the thing. Like, it's the whole thing where you're not saying you're leaving, but you're not saying you're
yeah,
staying either. So
yeah.
you're kind of like in the middle.
It's
So
PR
they
answer.
they yeah, they did ask him, like, so that means you're going to finish the season with Chivas, and he was like, well, who knows. So it's something I would have to keep an eye on, because the Chivas, they are ninth in the league. Um, I think the majority of talk, and you can tell me a little bit more about this, Guillermo, but I feel like the majority of talk in Mexico about Las Chivas is like they have found a great system with Gago, but they're not getting the results, and that's what people really bother. And but maybe we'll see. We'll see how things develop. I feel like he's gonna become the next Boca Juniors manager sooner or later. But for now, he's at Chivas.
Yeah, I think that's really funny you bring up that in like South America, like it's looking like he's gonna go, but like Mexican media is making it seem like he's not. And that's just honestly something that Mexican media is really guilty of, because like I have also seen this same, like, oh, like whenever like they like topic of conversation comes up, it's all kind of said. It's just like, oh no, like he's gonna be staying in Chivas. But the fact that he's like real open about it, like I don't know. I feel like that kind of answers, the whole question. I feel like if he was really set on Chivas, like he would have shown that in a way.
Yeah,
But
and
I think
always,
that
yeah, go ahead, finish your thought.
yeah, no, but I think that, and I feel like it would even be good for Chivas. Chivas is it's been a team that historically have been, one of the greatest teams in Mexico, but past couple years it's just been rotating coaches and trying to figure out new systems and trying to see what ends up working. But so I wouldn't even be surprised if this is just another coach in the rotation.
I know
Yeah,
we
and for
talked a
Chivas,
little bit. Oh, sorry, Vicente, go ahead.
no, yeah, go
I
ahead, go
know.
ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, we talked about Mexico playing the U.S. Is this Poch's first official game, and it's against
Yeah,
Mexico in Mexico? That's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
insane. That's kind of insane.
yeah.
yeah.
And
No,
coach
there's not a
actually
better test
rejected
than that.
Mexico.
Yeah, so there's not a better test than that. And Pochettino, like Guillermo said, you already had some connections with Mexico. We'll see, how he responds with the US. But obviously, for going back to US, is like, obviously Chivas representatives, they want to show stability because you don't want to be found in that conversation where like, oh yeah, our manager's leaving. But for realistically, for the Gago, someone who played for Boca, who was linked with the club, who was historically become one of like icons of the club, under Riquelme, like it does seem like an ambitious project to take. So we'll see how it develops. But transitioning into our final segment, we did talk about Carvajal, Danny Carvajal's injury. Obviously, really bad injury. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but his knee is not where it should
Yeah,
be.
it's like it
It's pretty,
Fuck.
bent like
yeah,
that. Like it was
yeah.
crazy.
It's a pretty sad, but obviously leads to, social media posts made by him saying, I'll be come back strong. This is a season-ending injury, but I'll be coming back stronger. And when you look in the comments, you can find a very interesting comment made by one of his Brazilian teammates, and that teammate is Vinicius Jr., the most likely who's going to become the Ballon d'Or winner. And the comment pretty much says, best right back in history. And it caused a lot of hate, or not hate, but a lot of comments on social media because, you have Madrid fans, replying and saying, true, true, yeah, he's the best. And then you have all the other fan bases just kind of combining and saying, what are you talking about? He's not one of the best. He's not the best um, right back in history. And then you have Brazilians as well. Like, dude, you're from Brazil. Like, Brazil is historically known for producing
Right
great
backs.
right backs,
Yeah.
and you
That's
put this out
crazy.
there. So I wanted to ask you guys, making it a conversation based on how you can develop in that position and based on trophies won and history, who is really the best right back in history?
Okay. I'll let Jordy go first on this one.
Man, I don't know because obviously people will say Cafu. I didn't get to watch Cafu. I was born in 2000. Cafu obviously, had that 2002 and then, Milan and everything and absolutely going off. But I didn't get to see that. But I did get to see Dani Alves. And look, Dani Alves defensively may not have been the best. I know that he has his history now, now that we
Yeah.
know about his past and everything. And it's very unfortunate, very sad, of course. And I don't condone any of it. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he still is, but at some point was the player with the most trophies in footy out of any player. And I don't know if that's still the case, but obviously he's known for his time at Barca, but he was also at PSG. He was at Pumas for a bit before the whole thing
Yep.
came out. Sevilla before that, and
Juventus, PSG, yeah, like
Juventus. Yeah,
yeah, I don't think I think Messi already surpassed him with the most trophies, but he's like those two are great candidates. So it
yeah,
makes sense to have those in the conversation.
yeah.
How about you, Guillermo? Do you have anyone else who could
Yeah.
be the best?
So when we were talking about this on the group chat, I was like, Dani Alves is just like an absolute great shot. Like this guy has got two Copa Americas, gold Olympic medal, Confederations Cup, under 20 World Cup championship in 2003. Like this guy is absolutely stacked. We already talked about his awards, but I want to talk about a right back that, in my opinion, revolutionized the position
Okay.
in Philip Lahm.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think Philip Lahm deserves an absolute shout because I mean this guy was just an absolute genius when it came to football. Like Pep Guardiola said, or he declared him the smartest player that he had ever coached, and that kind of says a lot. You know that says a lot. He was the one that made him go from between right back into that CDM spot, into that midfielding spot, and just kind of really started this whole new wave of like this new like I guess modern right back where just more creative and more involved in the middle. And yeah, sure, like the defending is on the side at this point, but it was just so influential for the era and then for the future of football. And Philip Lahm, man, like he had the World Cup captain. He won that, won 21 trophies with Bayern, 660 games with 23 goals and 77 assists. Like, at the right back, like I said, I revolutionized the position, and I think just deserves a spot in the conversation at the bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great shout. And I feel like these three, obviously, if you put any of these three as better than the other, no one will get mad because of how good they are. But if I have to pick one, I'll stick with Cafu, and that's because people don't really like. I was born in 2002. I wasn't able to watch him
Yeah.
live, and I watched highlights and like old games. And this guy won. He not only won the World Cup in 2002, but he won it in 1994, and he was a runner-up in 1998 with Brazil. So he could have won three
Same,
World
same.
Cups,
Yeah.
same as Pelé,
Yeah.
and being a really important player in all those three. He won two Copa Americas and he won a FIFA Confederations Cup, and he's a club legend at AC Milan. So Cafu is just I think realistically, although he didn't win as much with the clubs that he played for as Dani Alves, like
Mm-hmm.
what he did with the national team, I mean, he's one of the like most legendary players associated with the Brazil that had Ronaldinho, that had Ronaldo, that had all these superstars and Robinho, and just like the fact that he is considered one of the best within all those names, it just speaks a lot. Being a right back.
Yeah. I mean, 1000% the whole Cafu thing is just unfortunately we were just born a tad bit too late.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. But I mean, we can only hear stories and watch replays of what the greatness was.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
don't blame Beanie for saying that Dani Carvajal is the best right back in the world, but it's still crazy to hear from a Brazilian player.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the emotions took over since he got injured, I guess.
No, yeah, he probably didn't even mean it. He probably was just trying to show support, man. But you already know the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't get caught slipping on the internet. So
yeah,
And
that's crazy. But yeah, moving on into our final segment. We're actually not a segment, but this is not a segment. This is just a game that we love here at Just a Footballer. And I hope you at home who are watching this also love it. I don't know what your record is. I know that these guys have a solid record.
I think
But let's get to
it's
it.
something in three. 14 and
Yeah,
3 or something around
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's something like
yeah,
that. 17th
14.
episode. I already said I'm not going to explain the rules. You'll understand it as you watch. So are you guys ready for the first football?
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Okay, the first footballer officially retired from soccer today is Andres Iniesta.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to talk about that, but yeah, Andres Iniesta, man, hanging up the boots
Finally.
officially.
Yeah, man.
We said finally.
L- Leave soccer before soccer leaves you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I mean, okay, well, are you gonna give me some Japanese player or
can imagine.
Maybe. Yeah. No, I
the
won't. I won't.
maybe like a Spanish player, like a
Yeah.
Barca player. Like, I mean, I'll say Ter Stegen.
It is not Ter Stegen. And keep in mind, it has to be a current player. Just letting the audience know. I know you guys know that, but it has to be a current player. So the first footballer was Iniesta. The second, also retired, is Torres, El Niño Torres.
El
El Niño
Niño
Torres.
Torres.
Okay.
So
Damn.
a Spaniard that was old enough to be
Like
part of.
play with the golden age.
Man, I mean, I could think of a few that are still active, like Sergio Ramos. I mean, maybe no, maybe the hair at some point.
Question
Okay.
is Ramos really active? Like he hasn't retired, but he's a free agent, so I don't know what.
Yeah, he doesn't even
Yeah,
have he doesn't have a
I feel
team,
Yeah,
like
so
he'll
right?
count
so
against
so
Ecuador.
yeah, it's not Ramos because Vicente would have just stayed quiet.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I feel like Ramos won't count, but at the same time, he's not really active, so it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, from that play, then that is actually
That's
playing
still playing
now,
now.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments if you have it,
Is someone
if you
like
know who it is.
Pedro still active these days?
Yeah, Pedro is
Yeah.
active. You
We
guys
could
forget?
throw it there.
Could
Okay,
be.
Pedro. It's not Pedro. Pedro
Okay.
is playing at Lazio. He's balling, one of my favorite players of all time.
Oh
I really
yeah.
wish he could have made a comeback to Barcelona at some point because he has been doing really good at Lazio and kind of found his spot. You know, he went to Chelsea, then went to Lazio, and has been there ever since. But yeah, so we have Iniesta, we have Torres, and now we have an MLS player who
Okay.
is Insigne.
Insigne. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Now I'm thinking. Insigne, okay, Napoli, like Italian. No way it's like an MLS link.
Maybe like an older player.
Well, because he's in Toronto,
He's
right?
in
Like he's still in
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But I
mean,
don't think any Spaniards.
or in Toronto like that.
Yeah. We had
Hmm.
a WV at NYCFC for a bit.
Yeah.
Um.
Damn, this is actually
Yeah. It's not easy.
kind of a tough one for sure.
Napoli.
Insigne.
Oh no, bro. Somebody
No.
like Pepe Reina. I know he was at Napoli, but
Reina's honestly a decent shout. I'm not even
yeah,
gonna
like
lie,
I don't know.
bro.
I don't know if he's active though. That's the
And
thing.
that's that. I think he's playing. I don't think he's.
Probably,
I
yeah.
think,
I'm down, bro. I'm down.
yeah, I'm down for Pepe
Is that the
Reina.
guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Pepe Reina, man.
Dude!
Yeah, he's active. He's playing for Como under Cesc Fabregas.
That's crazy. Pepe Reina is
Yeah,
crazy. Who are the other two players?
Pepe Reina.
dude. So the other two players were Xavi Alonso and Pipita Higuain. So
Okay, so maybe Higuain would have,
almost all retired players except for
except for
Insigne and obviously Reina.
that's
So
Yeah.
insane. That yeah, that
yeah,
one was tricky. That one was tricky.
yeah,
That was a great shout, Pepe Reina,
Yeah, it's like
bro.
Pepe Reina.
yeah. Because with Xavi Alonso, obviously Spain and Liverpool, they also played together at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But Higuain, it was only it was a hard one. Like
Yeah,
Higuain only at Napoli. So if you guys didn't go in that direction, I don't. You guys will probably got
yeah.
it wrong.
Because I was first thinking about Spanish players, but then I was like, they've not played at Toronto. They've played at like NYCFC and other clubs, but
Yeah.
none
Yeah,
through Toronto. So yeah.
Yeah.
Pepe
No, I was trying
Reina
to think of
is.
Spanish players in that Napoli era, but Pepe Reina just didn't even come to mind, bro. Not even gonna
Yeah,
lie.
Yeah.
I feel like Spanish players is just him and Callejon, the guy from
Oh
Madrid
yeah,
who went to Napoli.
Callejon.
Come
Yeah,
on, bro.
that,
That
Man,
guy was an absolute baller
he
on
was a
FIFA,
he
bro.
was he was a beast. He was a beast on
yeah.
FIFA. He had a Serie A card. It
And
was sick.
Yeah, and Pepe Reina is the type of player that just shows you how important is it to, when you're forming a national team, it's not just about having the best players. Like he was obviously not going to start over Iker Casillas or Victor Valdez, but he was the heart of that national team. Like he was a funny guy. He was friends with everyone. Well, there's a famous
Yeah.
video of the celebrations in Spain. The guy who introduces the players to the crowd is Pepe Reina because he was a funny guy. He was the heart of that team, a team that was so divided between Barcelona and Madrid players. He was, that middle ground that could bring everyone together and just make them laugh and just have a good time. So that's why we can see that a lot of times we're like, oh, why is not this player in the team? Well, maybe he doesn't connect as much as this other guy who is just friends with everyone and just creates a positive environment.
Yep.
That's what a lot of coaches like.
Yeah, we saw that with Suarez at the last Copa America. Kind of go fill in that role for Uruguay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And realistically speaking, I feel like one of the biggest reasons why Messi could go to the 2026 World Cup
I
is
hope
like
so, man.
yeah, yeah, like I know he will play and he will start, but most important, like I feel like it will be something to give the players like Scaloni will like that to give the players more ambition and to make the group a lot closer because you don't have Messi there anymore. Then
Yeah,
it's weird
you
because
lose you
the
lose
players
a
are gonna have
part of the
so much.
team.
Yeah, the players are gonna have so much more pressure because now you have to show without the best player in the history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of stuff is just so important in the locker room, goes an absolutely just long way. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting to see what kind of roles these older players have in these teams.
Well, that does it for us. With the international breaks, we'll try to keep uploading. It will be all on Discord for now. I'm trying to buy a new mic so that way you guys can hear me better. Working with this busted ass beat, but I promise I'll have a better mic. And yeah, let us know which national team you're looking forward to see during this international break.
Yep.
Hopefully, no players get injured. That's what
Oh,
we
yeah.
always hope. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, as always, you can follow us in our socials before we go. Vicente, shout yourself out. Guillermo, shout yourselves out. You know.
Yeah, mine. You can find me at VTM091102 on Twitter and Vicente Garcia or Vicente Garda on Instagram.
Yeah, so I'm foot with GLR on all platforms, and also follow Hay Arquero on all platforms as
Yep.
well. Might as well.
Yeah, facts. And then you could hit me up, Jordy Reyes 34 on Twitter, Jordy Reyes 9 on Instagram. Still trying to get rid of the numbers. But yeah, that will do it for us. And we'll catch you guys on the next one with some international break talk. And yeah, take it easy, everybody.
All right.
Peace.